It is exactly 1 p.m. here in the nation's economic capital, Douala. You're watching the bilingual edition of the news on Canal International. I'm accompanied by Robert Charletok. Bon après-midi, Robert.
Good afternoon, Regina. Bon après-midi, mesdames et messieurs. Voici les titres à la une de l'actualité cet après-midi. Est entièrement consumé par les flammes aux premières heures de la matinée au lieu dit Sam Escale à Yaoundé. À Douala, c'est un jeune homme qui échappe à la vindicte populaire. Il n'aura la vie sauve que grâce à l'action des forces du maintien de l'ordre.
GCAM's President Celestin Tawamba has decried bad governance in the management of projects in Cameroon as he raised concerns on poor execution rates on the construction of a multi-sectorial vocational training center financed by the French Development Agency.
On parle encore de rentrée scolaire dans cette édition bilingue dans la région de l'Est Cameroun, dans l'arrondissement de Lommier. Élèves et enseignants sont à la belle étoile. Les intempéries ont eu raison des infrastructures. Les regards sont tournés vers les autorités compétentes. Une fois de plus, bon après-midi, mesdames et messieurs. Ouvrons ce journal avec cet incendie qui a consommé tout le contenu d'une boutique aux premières heures de la matinée à Yaoundé, au lieu dit Sam Escale. L'incendie se serait déclaré aux environs de 5 heures du matin. Le voisinage a été alerté par la fumée qui s'échappait par la toiture. Les propriétaires sont arrivés sur les lieux. Ils ont assisté impuissants à la catastrophe malgré la réaction des populations riveraines. Toute la marchandise a été réduite en cendres. Un investissement estimé à plusieurs millions de francs CFA. Selon les indiscrétions, l'incendie serait parti d'un court-circuit. L'arrivée des sapeurs-pompiers une heure après les avoir interpellés n'aura rien changé dans ce drame qui a entièrement consumé la boutique de ce concitoyen. Nous y reviendrons dans notre grand format du 19h50. Restons dans le registre des faits divers et poursuivons avec ce jeune homme qui échappe dans sa fuite sur sa moto. Il est fauché par un véhicule. Il aura eu la vie sauve que grâce à l'intervention des éléments de sécurité du commissariat numéro 1 de Douala. Pour l'heure, l'infortuné séjourne dans les cellules du dit commissariat. Poursuivons ce journal avec cette information qui nous vient de l'Ouest Cameroun. La ville universitaire Tchang fait sa toilette. Elle s'est engagée à enlever tous les dépôts d'ordures dans les grands carrefours. Question d'assainir la ville de Tchang. Une opération qui vise à donner un panorama nouveau à la ville. Lancée dans le concours Ville propre dans la région de l'Ouest, les autorités municipales dans cette localité entendent œuvrer d'arrache-pied pour débarrasser la ville des 15 tonnes d'ordures produites tous les jours. Le reportage est signé Eric Matane.
Voici le visage triste de la ville universitaire de Tchang depuis plusieurs années. Un aspect désolant pour la première capitale régionale de l'Ouest. Après l'acquisition de cette ratopelle flambante neuve, obtenue grâce à la coopération décentralisée avec la ville de Nantes Métropole, ces images ne seront que du passé.
C'est un engin assez spécifique qui va permettre à la commune de Tchang d'être plus efficace et plus efficiente dans son rôle d'assainissement et de développement de la ville.
Une grande campagne d'assainissement de la ville s'opère depuis quelques jours, question d'enlever toutes les montagnes d'ordures. Une satisfaction pour les populations.
Oui, il faut qu'au moins après 3 jours, ou bien après 4 jours, la mairie fait aussi fort pour l'idée. Parce que quand on laisse ça remplit la poubelle, les gens ne peuvent pas aller jusqu'à la poubelle pour verser. Ils vont verser ça en route et ça va nous empêcher même de traverser à pied.
It's good. What they're doing is good now because this place was very dirty that we could not even pass. The road was not going. We were going around before we can meet the other carrefour.
La commune entend par ce geste apporter une satisfaction totale dans le but d'éradiquer l'aspect d'insalubrité dans la cité climatique. Une action conduite par l'agence municipale de gestion de déchets.
Qui se réalise aujourd'hui
par rapport à la mienne. Vous le constatez que Tchang a des immondices dans des zones qui n'étaient pas facilement accessibles au camion. Donc aujourd'hui, nous sommes contents et aujourd'hui on peut désormais juger le maçon au pied du mur.
Cette action, qui s'inscrit dans le cadre de l'aménagement de la ville de Tchang, pourrait sans doute lui permettre de gagner le titre de la ville la plus propre de la région de l'Ouest.
Over in the southwest region of the country, the Anglophone crisis has caused the turnover of Cameroon's agro-industrial company PAMO to drop by a whopping 85%. The company now has a new management team that has been urged to do everything possible to boost the economy of the company. More in the following report with you, Ines Ondombala.
Palm plantations, like several public establishments in the troubled southwest region of Cameroon, is paying a heavy price of the current socio-political unrest. The agro-industrial is today lacking sustainability. There are now less than 200 employees out of the 2,600 identified before the constant attacks in Lobe and other localities of Ndian Division, where palm plantations are found. According to a recent report by the Commission for the Rehabilitation of Public Sector Enterprises in Cameroon, palm oil has recorded 90% loss since the start of the Anglophone crisis. The company needs more than 7 billion to get back on the track.
Considering the number of things that were actually assigned to us or given to us as assignments, we are going to take them one step at a time. We're going to take them one step at a time because definitely the approaches shall be different depending on what challenges we have.
The new officials of palm oil are expected to work towards revamping the company and equally ensuring the rehabilitation project of the company goes smoothly.
He's a vibrant young man in his career, has a very rich career while he was in the corporation CDC with a lot of experience, and we have that confidence hope that Palm will take a different direction. We are strongly thanking the head of state and the appointment of this our son at the helm of the Palm Corporation today makes us know that the head of state have us in mind.
While installing newly appointed officials of palm oil in Limbe, Agriculture and Rural Development Minister Gabriel Mairobe told them government will not relent efforts in bringing back palm oil to life.
Now, the Cameroon Bar Association has had its first ever president of the bar, Barrister Claire Atangana Bikuna, was appointed yesterday, replaces the late president Charles Pati Takunte on interim basis. Now, the senior advocate shall pilot the affairs of the bar until new elections are held. More in the following report with you, Hyacinthia.
This chair has been vacant since the demise of Batonier Charles Pati Takunte on October 4th. 2020, and for the first time in the history of the Cameroon Bar Association, it is a woman, Barrister Claire Atangana Bikuna, who takes up command as the interim batonier. Her status as the most senior member of the Bar Council earned her the prestigious position of the president of the bar.
By virtue of Section 53 and 54 of the organic law, provisional institution had to be set up, and as per that law, the most senior bar council member has to continue as the bar president for the meantime. Installed this Wednesday in a General Assembly, Barrister Claire Atangana is conscious of the heavy task ahead of her.
My first objective is to give our batonier a befitting burial. I know the bar, it is not easy. He was a unifier. I will do my assignment.
The president of the General Assembly challenged legal minds to bury all differences and rally behind the interim bar president for the good of the entire bar council.
I would like to call on all the colleagues to know that once the leader, and especially a unifier, is not more there, if there were conflicts at all, this is the time we should come together and build a stronger bar association in Cameroon.
Atangana Bikuna has been member of the Cameroon Bar Association for over 30 years, and she shall occupy the position of president till the end of the present elective mandate.
And over in the northwest region of the country, schools have effectively kicked off in Canal, chief town of the Ndonga Mountain division of the northwest region. Authorities went down to the field to see for themselves the effective nature of back to school in that part of the country. Our reporter Annie Collins was there, and the story done for us by student journalist on internship Ekokobe Remy Carol.
Canal, chief town of the Ndonga Mountain division in the northwest region, has been an outstanding example of peace and normalcy since the beginning of the security crisis in 2016. In Canal, there has been continuous flow of business and uninterrupted schooling, even in uniforms. These are the values which administrative, legislative, and municipal authorities have been trying to spread to neighboring villages like Wongiri and Tabenkeng in a recent tour.
We are happy to be here and see the smiles in the faces of these children wishing to be trained, wishing to study, to assure the populations of Wangri that these children will be secured in school.
In some localities, the visiting authorities joined the local population in cleaning overgrown school campuses for school resumption.
It's about telling other communities or other divisions to follow the example of what is happening in Ndonga and Canal in particular. There's no more I can tell my people here. They already are very well aware that they need to be in school. You've seen it for yourself.
Using the local and English languages, the SDO and other speakers sensitized parents and their children on the importance of education, which they maintained is the only way to change the tide in the much talked about Anglophone marginalization in Cameroon.
Now, the two-shift system of teaching instituted by the government to curb the spread of the COVID-19 in schools is beginning to bear fruit. Our reporter, student journalist on internship De Floringa, has been speaking to some students in the nation's capital who say the extra time permits them to prepare before going to class. Her report.
Louise is a terminal student in the French subsystem of education. As an afternoon shift student, she intends to have a good plan of studies for this academic year, as more time is given to her in the morning.
Je vais mettre le temps du matin.
I will program my time for studies. I will have a well-organized timetable and then do my house chores in the morning or at the eve. She gets up in the morning, does her house chores and makes sure she prepared food for the day. Chores over, she concentrates on her studies to revise her lessons while waiting for 12 o'clock to get ready for school. Same fate like him.
I'm doing my house chores. I revise in my lesson.
Those of the morning shift once home, eat, relax before engaging on house chores and reading.
When I come back from school, I eat something. I rest. Then I do my assignments.
The two-shift system implemented by the Cameroon government, though new for the students, they are already adapting as the days goes by.
Even though beneficial for students, the two-shift system of teaching is not exactly easy for teachers. Now, most teachers in the nation's capital say their workload has now increased and their only prayer is for COVID-19 to be over so that they can get back to their normal way of teaching. However, some teachers say the two-shift system of teaching is beneficial as it permits students to be able to prepare before coming to class. More on the following report with student journalists on internship, Linda Kenye and Luke Vonda.
3 days after school resumption, teachers find it difficult to adapt to this two-shift teaching system put in place by the government. Fewer hours of teaching in post, but the teachers hope for a quick return to former teaching system.
Pray that Corona should finish so that we'll go back to our normal way of learning, because like this, how many hours of teaching, understanding of students, I mean, to work, the workload in class, it will not be done in class completely.
In the French subsector of education, some new chapters were introduced in some classes, making the task even more difficult for these pedagogues.
For example, they have reduced time. For example, in Terminal C, since I'm a mathematics teacher, they have added 2 chapters to the program. We were supposed to have 9 hours per week, but it was reduced to 4 hours 10 minutes. For me, this is a very difficult equation to solve.
For some teachers, this two-shift system is a difficult equation to solve. Others appreciate it, as it will permit students to have enough time to read and prepare the next lessons.
This system will enable students to have softer timetable. That means those who come in the morning and in the afternoon have enough time to organize themselves and study while at home. E-learning is what the Ministry of Secondary Education has put in place to make up for the lapses. But according to these pedagogues, the e-learning program by the government will not be efficient to complete student studies, as majority of these students lack internet-connected software.
Restons dans le registre de la rentrée scolaire et allons dans le village Pagno, arrondissement de Lomier. Les élèves et enseignants là-bas sont pratiquement à la belle étoile. Ateliers, salles de classe ont tous vu leur toiture emportée par les intempéries. Samuel Baha et Kisto Koumaï y ont fait un tour.
Toiture éventrée, elle porte encore les stigmates des intempéries. Les bâtiments vétustes. Dans ce cadre insalubre, les écoliers du village Pagno à Lomier retournent à l'école.
De l'autre côté, on va voir comment s'accorder la mairie. Donc on va mettre ça là à votre disposition.
Dans le centre urbain, les rues sont animées par le mouvement des élèves qui déambulent. D'autres écoutent en classe les premières consignes. Du côté de l'administration, sérénité comme maître mot.
Nous devons faire le dépistage systématique, c'est la recommandation que nous avons reçue de notre hiérarchie. Mais nous continuons de respecter les mesures barrières.
L'année passée était tellement compliquée à cause du Covid-19. Nous n'avons pas pu avoir les cours normalement quand nous sommes revenus à l'école. J'espère que cette année sera meilleure pour nous.
Le constat est le même au sein des établissements scolaires de Lomier. Le manque criard d'enseignants.
Même si on n'a pas encore atteint la vitesse de croisière, on peut quand même se satisfaire de ce que nous avons vu sur le terrain. Bon, maintenant, ce que nous déplorons, c'est le manque d'enseignants qu'on a pu noter dans beaucoup d'établissements.
Au lycée technique de Lomier, les vents ayant emporté le toit, à ciel ouvert, élèves et enseignants se côtoient dans les ateliers. Rentrée scolaire dans l'arrière-pays, la formation au pied de la misère.
À Lomier, on attend encore des autorités compétentes, mais dans l'extrême nord, on reçoit déjà le bataillon d'intervention rapide est à pied d'œuvre contre la secte islamique Boko Haram dans cette partie du pays et s'investit également pour le bien-être des populations en cette période de rentrée scolaire. Le BIR a octroyé à des centaines d'élèves des fournitures scolaires, mais aussi retrocédé au sous-préfet de Ouaza 2 bâtiments totalement refaits. Aimé Catherine Moukouri et Aminou Alioum ont assisté à la rétrocession.
Les commandos dans une opération de cœur. Au-delà de sa mission de protection, le bataillon d'intervention rapide s'est illustré dans l'œuvre sociale à Ouaza. Les écoliers défavorisés et déplacés internes de la crise sécuritaire reçoivent du BIR des fournitures scolaires, de quoi soulager les parents.
Ils volent au secours de la jeunesse camerounaise avec le pleur qu'on a, qu'ils viennent écarter vraiment le danger ou bien la dépense que nous ne pouvons pas. Et nous sommes très satisfaits et très émus parce que on a eu beaucoup de situations qu'on ne pouvait pas résoudre. Mais le BIR est venu pour nous aider dans ce volet.
4 écoles ont été bénéficiaires de cette action. L'école publique de Tagawa, les écoles publiques de Ouaza et Platari, mais aussi le lycée de Ouaza qui a vu ses salles de classe réhabilitées. Des infrastructures comme neuves pour élèves et enseignants.
Un grand merci. Ils nous ont réhabilité 2 salles de classe. Aujourd'hui, ils viennent encore pour nous équiper en fourniture. Vraiment, nous sommes très, très reconnaissants.
Le sous-préfet de l'arrondissement a manifesté sa reconnaissance à l'endroit du bataillon d'intervention rapide. Mais la satisfaction reste de ces visages gais derrière des cache-nez qui connaîtront désormais la joie de la scolarisation.
Dans la Bumba Ngoko, les enseignants se font rares. Les élèves ont tout de moins répondu présent le 5 octobre dernier. La rareté des enseignants là-bas pose la problématique de la qualité de l'instruction et qui est grandement contestée. Samuel Baha, Kisito Koumaï pour les précisions.
La rentrée scolaire est effective dans la KDI et la Bumba Ngoko. Sur la cour de l'école publique de Yola, territoire de Ndélé, élèves et instituteurs prennent part au lancement officiel, coordonné par le préfet du département de la KDI. Remarque, un seul enseignant par établissement.
Je suis la seule enseignante d'État dans cet établissement depuis 2016. Pourquoi l'État ne pense pas recruter des enseignants? Un établissement phare de l'arrondissement, auquel nous apportons des meilleurs résultats.
Une kyrielle d'élèves sera récompensée au vu de leur performance l'année dernière. Un taux de réussite que l'autorité administrative voudrait voir revu à la hausse.
Avec la décentralisation, nous allons faire des efforts pour pouvoir construire de nouvelles salles de classe et ensuite recruter certains enseignants parce qu'il y a un manque criard.
Le préfet et le délégué départemental des enseignements secondaires de la Mbumba et Goko passent au pain fin les établissements scolaires de Yokadouma.
Nous voulons profiter pour dire aux parents que la rentrée est effective. On a perdu un mois déjà par rapport aux années antérieures, le mois de septembre. Nous sommes rendus au 5 octobre. Le premier trimestre sera achevé vers la vingtaine du mois de décembre. Qu'ils envoient les enfants à l'école, parce que l'école a vraiment repris. Et qu'ils n'oublient pas, c'est un contexte particulier avec le respect des mesures barrières.
La Mbumba et Goko inscrit au rang des priorités l'éducation, facteur de développement. Le moins instruit de la localité, bachelier à l'horizon 2035, laisse-t-on entendre ici. Où sont passés les enseignants affectés dans ce département?
En santé, le professeur Noël Esomba vient d'être porté à la tête de l'hôpital La Quintini de Douala comme directeur en remplacement du professeur Louis-Richard Ndjok, appelé à d'autres fonctions. Le décret a été signé du Premier ministre Junior Hussein et Henri Tinda ont assisté à l'accueil de ce nouvel homme à la tête de l'hôpital La Quintini.
Professeur de médecine, Noël Emmanuel Esomba, nouveau directeur de l'hôpital La Quintini de Douala et sa politique des bons verts.
La politique mise en place à travers ce que nous appelons les bons verts nous permet de prendre en charge les patients dès leur arrivée dans notre formation sanitaire, quelles que soient les personnes de leur poche, quelle que soit leur personnalité. Nous les prenons en charge au niveau des urgences. Nous les envoyons vers les salles d'hospitalisation si cela est nécessaire. Et ce n'est qu'à ce moment que nous négocions le paiement de cette prise en charge. Et nous sommes satisfaits parce que cette politique, à plus de 80%, marche.
Ce décret, signé le 7 octobre 2020 par le Premier ministre portant le professeur Noël Emmanuel Esomba à la tête de l'hôpital La Quintini de Douala, arrive comme une reconnaissance des actions menées en peu de temps par ce dernier en faveur du dit hôpital, des patients et du personnel.
Je suis très ému pour sa promotion.
Il a toujours été très aimant, très regardant et très professionnel.
Ce matin, la joie est immense au sein de l'hôpital. C'est en triomphe que le nouveau directeur est accueilli par l'ensemble du personnel.
Merci au ministre de la Santé publique qui veille chaque semaine à ce que le travail qu'il a instruit au niveau de l'hôpital La Quintini soit fait.
Précédemment directeur de l'hôpital de district de Nilon, à Douala, il est désormais directeur de l'hôpital La Quintini de Douala en remplacement du professeur Richard Ndjok. Le professeur Noël Emmanuel Esomba est le 17e directeur que connaît ce grand centre de santé.
Now, JICAM's President Celestin Tawamba has decried poor management in projects in Cameroon as he raised the concerns on the poor execution rate of construction projects of a multi-sectoral vocational training center financed by the French Development Agency and which had funds already made available since 2020, according to the employer's cartel. President who worked on the executed at only 17% since works kicked off and at which was expected to be delivered since 2019. Now the concerns were raised at a high-level multi-sectoral workshop with private sector. Discussions to that effect are ongoing this Thursday at the JICAM's headquarters here in Douala. We shall definitely be bringing you details about that story in the upcoming editions of our newscast. We now talk health, where statistics reveal that at least 627,000 women died of breast cancer in 2020 alone. Now, the growing rate of cancer in women in Cameroon is a major concern, and women have been urged to do their tests early enough to detect whether or not they have cancer. More in the following report with you, Morinzi.
Africa
Africa and Cameroon in particular is experiencing an increase in the burden of chronic, non-communicable diseases like cancer. Female cancers are the leading causes of cancer-related morbidity and mortality, with most vulnerable population, the women. At the Gynecological Hospital in Yassa, Douala, medics are more preoccupied with the growing rate of breast cancer, despite the increasing number of specialized doctors. The main problem has to do with finance. 90% of patients take charge of the disease at all levels. They pay for diagnosis, treatment, medications, and the list is just so long. Yet with no subventions from government. Recent statistics from the Gynecological Hospital in Yassa, Douala indicates that of the 30% of cancer patients registered, 5 of them have abandoned treatment. Professor Paul Ndom is at the forefront of the fight against cancer in Cameroon. He frowns at government strategy, which is not aggressive enough to effectively roll back all forms of cancer in women. Government should fight back cancer by financing it at all levels. The Prime Minister had signed an order in this perspective, but is not yet effective on the field. In a global effort to raise awareness on breast cancer, the month of October has been designated as a pink month, during which the Gynecological Hospital in Yassa is multiplying efforts to educate the population about the disease, such as eating healthy diet and getting regular screenings as a means to prevent or treat breast cancer.
Now, a family of 4 is currently spending nights under a mango tree at the Montfebe neighborhood in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, after they were chased by their landlord for their inability to pay their rents. 2 of the family members are said to be critically ill, as we hear in the following report with Hysen Chia and Constant Kamga.
This mango tree is the only home Apollonie Clay and the other 3 members of our family can boast of at the moment. We are at the Montfebe neighborhood, Yaoundé. Apollonie, her mother, her 13-year-old daughter, and her younger sister living in total misery. Her daughter lying critically sick, and the sister down with a bad leg. All they got as fortune is in these bags and plastic papers. Their kitchen in open air, a 3-stone fireside. They spend nights on bare soil. Only God alone knows how they manage the rainy nights. The family has been through this suffering for 3 weeks. They were benefiting from the patience of their former landlady. But after a year of non-payment of rent, she had to throw them out at about 10 p.m.
The landlady sent us out because we had not paid rent for 1 year. We had no means to pay. That is how I found myself here and my little family.
She was a little trader, but her business crumbled. And now her present predicament, she explains, is a handicap in getting another job.
I have thought of working as a house help, but wherever I go, they say I live out. They cannot give me a job because I can contaminate the children with diseases.
No way for the little girl to go to school. The father had long disappeared into thin air. Sad enough, going back to their native Bafunda village, West region, is a no idea. Their lone building, they say, had long collapsed.
Now, a small village known as Bengbis, located in the Nja and Lobo division in the south region of Cameroon, is in dire need of disenclavement. Now, the lack of roads, potable water and electricity are amongst the many difficulties faced by the population of this area. The newly installed divisional officer has been urged to bring change to the community, as you tell us in the following report, William Fro.
Situated in the Jai-Lobo division of the South region, Bengbis, an administrative unit created before independence, suffer from high levels of underdevelopment. With a population of about 17,000 people, the locality remains enclave. We are suffering. There is no way to carry out our farming activities. When it rains, even to transport our crops to the market is a problem. Not even to mention inundations, lack of electricity and potable drinking water. The hospital in this area lacks equipment, making it difficult to attend to patients. The center, as you can see, is well constructed, but there are no medical equipment. So, It makes it difficult for us to intervene in case of an emergency, with the aim of bringing solutions to the numerous difficulties they face. The newly appointed SDO, together with the DO of Jai Lobo, called on the sons and daughters of this area to join hands and develop their homeland. I have asked the newly appointed subdivisional officer to keep on with hard work just like his predecessor and see to the rapid development of this area as well. A ceremony which has brought hope to the people who are just expecting a change from now on hence. We want Bembis to change. That is why we expect the newly appointed SDO to bring the change, notably with the help of our sons and daughters. We really hope he helps us promote Bembis and the youth. It will really be wonderful to see our territory being developed. Time for the SDO to get to work and transform words to action.
And that was it, ladies and gentlemen, for this edition of the Bilingual News on Canal International. Thank you so much for watching. We invite you to stick around for programs and news continue on your #1 TV. Bon après-midi, Robert.
Good afternoon, Regina. Mesdames et messieurs, bon après-midi. Rendez-vous demain à la même heure.